Good day and welcome to the journey. I'm Reverend Bobby, and today on the journey with us, we have my friend and confidant and fellow truth teacher, Ms. Tekla Sires. How are you doing today, Tekla?
I'm doing wonderful, Bobby. Good to see you.
Good to see you. And for all the people watching, make sure to subscribe. Gospel of Robert, that's GOSPELOFROBERT. Gospel of Robert on the YouTube channel so you can get the dings whenever we put some good stuff up here for you. So, Tekla,
Yes, sir.
share with us a little bit about you and who you are and give us a little snippet on Tekla.
Yes, sir. A little snippet on Tekla. Oh, Reverend Bobby, that is a broad area. Who is Tekla? I'm a mother, a grandmother, a great grandmother. I'm a teacher. I'm a student. I'm a woman. I'm an African American. I'm a member of the universe. It's I'm indispensable to the universe, and so it is. Currently, I'm a retired consultant. My career was in nonprofit leadership, nonprofit management, fundraising, strategic planning, and I loved it all. And now I do more of what I love all the time, boundlessly. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
And which is it that you do more of now boundlessly that you just love so much?
The learning, the learning. I continue to read, I continue to take classes, I continue to meditate, go deeper. I'm trying to get to the authentic Tekla. And it's work. It's work. There are a lot of distractions out here. And getting to the authentic Tekla, I think the closer I get, the more I recognize my connection with everything else, everyone else. So that means that I can't really go anyplace by myself. I'm I'm connected to all of those things that I associate with. So welcome to my universe.
Yeah. So how does that make you feel with that um, responsibility, but not weight as you get closer to the
Oh,
authentic Tekla?
um, the sense of uh, connection. You know, what was that song? The knee bone connected to the leg bone. That interconnectedness um, on a physical plane can be very distressing. I look at things that are going on, and if I thought that was all there was, and that was what I needed to respond to, I would be a ball of nerves. I would be filled with fear. I'd be afraid to leave my house and afraid to stay in it. But through that sense of connectedness, I recognize that there's more to me than this, and that there's more to you than this. I've walked in a room and recognized something had happened even though no one said anything.
Mm-hmm.
You feel the tension, and that's through your connectedness. So that larger than me, larger than you see, is integral to you.
So has the larger than you, the the total connectedness in and through all things, has it been a easy, smooth ride with that, or does it get a little bit icky sometimes?
Um, Listen, I've had
I'm gonna
plenty.
listen to you
I've,
because you
I've,
smart.
I've had plenty of icky, and I've had plenty of smooth.
So how do you deal with the icky?
Well, for quite some time, the icky dealt with me.
Uh-oh.
Okay. But as I discovered the more of myself, the icky began to like lose its influence. Now, anytime I shift my attention exclusively to what's going on around me, to the evidence of my five senses,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
whenever I rely on that, I do become, in many cases, anxious. And it's easy enough to say, well, just ignore that. You know that there's more, but I am physical too. I'm not just spiritual. I'm physical too. I'm psychological too. So if there is frenzy around me, I am aware of it. But I triumph when I don't base my decision making on that.
One thing I've always known, even if I don't say it outwardly, is that um a lot of stuff comes your way. You process a lot of information because a lot of stuff, a lot of people, a lot of things, come your way, depend on you, come mess with you, whatever. It just seems like, you know, that's the way of your energy, being that, what I call as clear as a vessel as you can as you continue to work. Um, is it difficult for you to sort through all of these things, or does it after a minute become kind of like a flow where everything is manageable, or most things, let's say, are manageable?
As long as I think I need to sort through stuff, um, that's just a paralyzing thought. I don't get much done. Um, but when I realize that I'm always right on time, and I'm right on time because this that I need to deal with is in my face.
Yeah.
Okay, so if it's in my face, now is the time to deal with it. If I come to a fork in the road, there might be some snarling and barking and um, scary noises coming from this path, and this path might have children playing and lambs and bubbles. But if the vibe is not right this way, I got to go this way.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if that means I have to go through some snarling and what have you, this is the path that I was supposed to take. And the journey is going to be good, and the outcome is going to be good.
Pretty
And
much either way we choose, but
choice,
I just think you're an
choice.
adventurous woman and like the snarls and the
Well,
ups and downs. Did you like roller coasters growing up?
no,
No,
not even.
it
Did,
sounds like because the up,
did
down,
no,
round, around don't bother you one bit.
didn't want to stand up too fast. Roller coasters out of the question. I rode a roller coaster one time in my life, and I was, oh no. I had a nightmare where a friend of mine tricked me onto a roller coaster, and I was done with that relationship when I woke up. I mean, that relationship was over. That was the universe saying to me, this is not a person to be trusted. You know, they knew where I was vulnerable and tricked me into a hyper weakened state.
Yeah.
You know, all of the information that any of us need is in our face all the time. You know,
So,
we just have to go with it.
so why we miss it most times?
Because we are judging by appearances. We are thinking just because this path over here, you know, looks like sunny and the people over there are dressed right. The people over there are like saying the right things. You know, they're living the blinged out life. You know, and some of that might be on your path, and some of that might not. You know, and if you go over there and you end up jacked up, you judge by appearances.
But see, sometimes, like you're saying, it's nothing over there but sunburn. You don't know. That sun is hot.
Right. You know, but like you look, you know, you see some things that are attractive to you. And even though your heart says, this is the path over here, you judge by appearances and you go with it. And when you got the headache and stress and the relationships like screwed up and now somebody messing with your money and you say, oh, something told me to take that other path. It happens all the time.
One of my friends, we were just talking about stuff and lives and things that she liked. And she said, you know, Bobby, when I realized this was what I liked, but it was the worst thing for me in the world.
Of course.
She said that was the hardest thing for me to move beyond, because I kind of like the, you know, the look and the, you know, suave stuff that these guys had, but man, they were like no good for me. And it was interesting how, as much as she liked it, it was just on the opposite, that much not good for her at the same time.
Listen, you know, there's
Yes, Tekla, I'll listen to you. I'm full with her, people. That's my girl there. I'm full with her.
I wonder if I say that to everybody.
I don't know.
I don't know either. But I'm going to be paying attention now. I'm going to be paying attention. It's a wonder I have any relationships if I'm telling everybody to listen to me all the time.
But they should, don't you think?
I think that's a choice they need to make.
Sometime, but
because they can't always tell me to listen. They can tell me, but
well, I mean, you know, this is the wonderful thing about, I think, where both of us have grown, even though we weren't too. Well, I know I was sometime, because I was trying. I had somewhere I had to get to, and it used to be, you know, like stuff and things. But in just staying the course and developing and becoming more accepting of people. 1 year in the burning bowl, I did. It's been 13 years this year. I burnt up all my prejudices and biases. I didn't know all of what they were. But once I did that exercise, over the next 12 or so years, it was kind of not so much difficult, but you just say, whoa, as you know, you wake up more in the morning, you know, who am I? How do you deal with the day-to-day who is Tekla?
There have been like a few points along my life that were clarifying. It was like, you know, I took a giant leap. And one of those was when I read Desiderata, and that was in high school. And it was like, go placidly amid the noise and haste.
Mhm.
When I read that poem, I knew that was an approach that I wanted to take to life. That that began to indicate to me that there could be a path that was specifically my path. I didn't know where it was, what it was, where it would take me. Um, and they've been different things that were when I jumped out of an airplane. Again, I didn't do roller coasters because I was terrified. Um, I did let someone talk me into parasailing, and it was such a peaceful and expansive experience.
Mhm.
So quiet up there,
Mhm.
and you can see so far.
Mhm.
You know, there are no barriers. And
Quiet up there, and you can see so far. That is just some kind of.
exactly, you know, there was nothing in the way. There was nothing in your way, no matter which way you looked.
That's a good metaphor, isn't it?
Exactly. So that got me to thinking, what if I were up higher? And I decided that the rewards of that higher perspective would be worth jumping out of an airplane for. I managed to talk a couple of friends into doing it with me, and I think their motivation was, how could they live with me if I did it and they didn't?
Interesting, huh?
I know why I did it, and I didn't want fear to keep me from having that perspective, if
Mhm.
only briefly. That helps me to understand why people are willing to pay to go into space. Now, I'm good with the perspective that I have for the time being. And I think when I want a broader perspective, I don't need to go out to get it. I go in, and that perspective is limitless.
Well, it is because you could do a good meditative state and walk every inch of the cosmos in the.
You don't even have to walk, you
Yeah,
know,
you
it just
just.
reveals itself to
Yeah, you
you.
you just well, since we are it, right?
Exactly. Exactly. You know, and to feel yourself um, at one, you know, with just nothing distinguishing you from all that is. It's a wonderful thing.
It's a wonderful thing. It's much more easier, I find. I get to breathe, easier and stuff. It makes my sleep cycle funny. I was looking for you last night. I said, I wonder if she up at 2 o'clock. And those kinds of things. How you handle all of those things that just go however they want to be.
Uh, Obviously, if they're going every which way that they want to be, I wasn't trying to handle them.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's them handling you again, right?
you know,
Or having a heavy influence.
I want to be not handling stuff. I want to be operating in cooperation with stuff. And if something needs handling, then that is an indication to me that I need to be cooperating with something as opposed to trying to handle or be handled. I need to be working in cooperation. I could be handling, and I'm talking about handling from a standpoint of control,
Oh no.
okay, as opposed to simply cooperating.
Yes.
The things that I'm supposed to do present themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I can try stepping over them, walking around them, but because they are on my path, they just show up in front of me again. And I don't grow, I don't move on to another learning opportunity. I don't have the kind of fun I could be having until I do what is on my path to do.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I don't need to be carrying, oh, I should be doing, I should be doing. I'm doing what I should be doing.
And that's it. When you come to the realization, it's like people look at me as a lot of different things depending on who the people are, right?
And what color shirt you got on.
Yeah, and all of that. And and I always wondered, was I enough to be that for everybody? Because I actually wanted to serve and do well, and if I had something to say something that'll help them and that kind of stuff. And you should drive me nuts until I realized that I was that just how they saw me when I showed up. How they felt me was how they interacted with me, and it made my life a whole lot easier. And
Robert, you just drew yourself.
well, that too. That
That
always
exclusively.
because it's funny you would say that, you little rascal. See, I just have to show my deep love for you. No, but seriously, that's what we do. And when I draw, I don't draw too much, wacky stuff. But I do draw people with stuff sometimes that need help in letting it go, that need help in getting it up and getting it up go, because I need their help in getting it up and letting it go sometimes.
we,
How
we,
we how we like to hold on to stuff just so wonderfully that be child that got prickles and rose thorns, and we be if he grab a hold of it, help me tackle her.
you come back to like that handling all the stuff that we think we need to handle.
I like that.
That's not even the tip of the iceberg.
I
we
like that.
can't we can't see the stuff that we need to handle until it shows up in somebody else, and we work through our stuff by working through them. They show us that blind spot that needs some attention, some love, some recognition, some acknowledgement, and we heal ourselves through them. And if we don't do that, they show up again as somebody else, and again and again and again.
Until we deal with it.
Exactly.
And it's always until we deal with whatever it is, within ourselves
Everything
that needs the attention, because it can't heal until we give it the attention. And these things, not to hurt, make nothing, except to draw it to your
to
attention.
resolve it.
Yeah.
We draw it to resolve it.
Did it sting at first when you said, "Oh God, this isn't from me again. Now I got to take care of it and stop being lackadaisical"?
Wait, did it sting at first? It stung. I'm trying to think of all of the other expressions of discomfort.
Well, see, you one of my guru-ness divine feminine, so I always come and see what it is.
When appearances, and again, the evidence of our five senses,
Mm-hmm.
its only reality is through our acknowledgement. So it is fighting for our attention all the time. We take that time to go within, but you can't live your life within.
Right.
Okay? You are here to like matriculate this
The
world of the
within,
senses.
yeah.
Yeah, it's your allness is within this shell.
Right.
Okay? If you were going to be here, you have to give some attention to this shell. So you have to know what's going on out here, so you don't step on a snake. Okay? So with all of that in mind, there's always going to be a draw on your attention. But you must not allow yourself to be deceived into thinking that the evidence of your senses is all there is, or all there is to you, of you.
But it's really tough, because we're in the three-dimensional experience where we're perceiving things as everything physical. So the physical stuff really becomes a challenge to us most times, whether it's disease, addiction, all of those things that appear on the physical thing.
Yeah.
The above it, it's one of the chapters in the Revelation talks about the 144,000 standing on the mountain with Mount Zion and stuff. But in that chapter, it's talking about being above the fray, being above the stuff that's going on. And as we move in our spiritual walk, what are some of the things you do to help yourself reach that above when you need to, so that you can be okay?
It's something that we grow into, and I think a first step is beginning to recognize when you have strayed off the yellow brick path. I love that analogy, because as long as you stay on the yellow brick road, you don't have the poisonous poppies, you don't have the scary monkeys, the witch can't do anything to you. You're safe on the yellow brick road. But there's always something that catches our eye to the other side of the road. So as soon as you begin to experience discomfort in any way, the hairs on the back of your neck stand up, you start getting headaches, you're too cold. Everything in your experience is feedback. Everything is feedback. Everybody that comes to you is feedback. Whether you call it a challenge or an opportunity or a disaster, it's all feedback. And it's all to prompt you to remember the larger of you, that which is indistinguishable from all else.
That's a good way to take us to that end of the journey today, Tekla. I really enjoyed having you on the journey with me today. We will do this again one day, please, madam.
I love our conversations. I never know what it is we really talked about. But
they're always quite fulfilling.
Yeah,
And
it's always
quite,
a satisfying experience. It really
yeah,
is.
yeah.
You don't talk about this stuff with everybody.
No. But we talk about it with each other, and we just be okay with ourselves. Amen.
Every time we do, I feel we have tilled some ground, and by tilling that ground, we've prepared it for something to grow and thrive in it.
Yes.
Which means when I depart from you, I have to be real careful about what I allow to fall into that soil.
Yes. Because we're wide open and it's fresh now.
Oh yeah.
Amen to the amen.
Oh yeah.
So
We already
everyone,
fertilized it.
and it's yeah, that's it. It's done. So we will expect great things. And people, you expect great things in your life as you continue the journey. And from Tekla and I, we hope you journey well. Right, Tekla?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Go
Take,
for it.
take care, everyone.